It was a lovely afternoon when his son decided to ask his parents for something he had been wanting for a long time. His mom and dad were so happy to hear what he wanted and told him they would buy it for him right away. But this was not the answer that the kid expected. So what did the child ask? Let's find out in today's story. Emma and Tom were an exemplary married couple who ran a small business together. Their son Ethan was their whole world. He was a sweet boy with blonde hair and big blue eyes. One day while having breakfast, Ethan noticed his father adjusting his glasses. "Dad, why do you wear those?" he asked. Tom smiled at his son's innocence. "Because I cannot see without them," he said. "Oh!" Ethan pondered for a moment. Then an idea struck him. He looked at his mother. "Mom, do you also need those?" he asked. Emma was taken aback by his question. She knew where this was going. "No, honey, I don't need them." "Why do you ask?" she replied. Ethan got up from his chair and went next to his mom.
He rubbed her shoulders like he always saw his dad doing.
"Well, I think I want to have those too." Emma and Tom exchanged glances. They knew exactly what he was referring to, but they decided to play along. "You want to have glasses?" Tom asked, raising an eyebrow. Ethan nodded vigorously. "I think I'm farsighted." "Look, even that drawing that you made for me looks blurry," he said, pretending to squint. Emma burst out laughing. "Oh, my goodness. You think you're farsighted," she said. Ethan nodded again. Tom ruffled his son's hair. "Well, if that's the case, then we should get you checked at the eye doctor's," he said. "Yes, let's go," Ethan exclaimed. Tom and Emma couldn't help but smile at how adamant their son was about getting glasses. However, they knew he was just playing around. The truth was that Ethan could see perfectly well without any assistance. He had received a full eye checkup the previous year, and there was no indication that he needed glasses or had any vision problems. Still, they didn't want to disappoint him, so they decided to humor him and take him shopping for glasses and maybe a book on how to read better. When they arrived home from the store, Ethan excitedly showed his parents the glasses he had chosen. He kept them on his head like a crown, pretending to be a king. Emma and Tom played along. "How do you like your new glasses, Your Highness?" Tom asked. Ethan beamed and gave his dad a thumbs up. "They're amazing," he said, but soon he seemed to have second thoughts. "Will people laugh at me if they see me wearing these?" he asked. Tom sat down next to his son and explained. "No, honey, people will only laugh at you if you make them laugh. These glasses are cool. Someday you might even want to have nice ones like your dad, which cost an arm and a leg," Emma added. "Yes, and you can choose different frames every time your style changes." Ethan seemed convinced by his parents' reasoning, but he still had one more question. "What if I want braces like Michael Jordan had? Will you get them for me too?" Emma and Tom froze. This was not part of their plan. They didn't know how to react to this. Could they really get their son braces just because he wanted to look like Michael Jordan, an athlete he barely knew? "We'll talk about that later, sweetheart," Tom said. "Why don't you go outside and play now?" "We're going to be busy for a bit," he added. But Ethan wasn't convinced. "No, I want to know now. Please, 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 please," he begged. Emma and Tom knew they couldn't keep putting off this conversation any longer. They looked at each other and sighed. "Ethan, you know we love you very much, and we want to make you happy. And of course, if there was something serious and important, we would never say no to you. But this isn't an important matter. Michael Jordan is a great basketball player, but that doesn't mean you need braces to be a great player too. And besides, he wore them because he had a problem with his teeth, not just for fun," Emma explained patiently. Ethan pouted. "But I want to have braces for fun," he mumbled. Tom and Emma were surprised by their son's response. They weren't prepared for this. But they tried again. "Sweetheart, braces are not a toy. It's a medical device that should only be used when necessary. And glasses are not a toy either. They should only be worn when you need them. Do you understand?" Ethan hesitated. He knew his parents were right, but he still wanted braces and glasses. "Please, please, please, please," he begged, hoping his parents would change their minds. But Emma and Tom stood firm. They knew that giving in to this tantrum would only encourage Ethan to beg and manipulate them into buying him things in the future. And they didn't want to teach him that it was okay to pressure them into doing what he wanted. So they remained unmoved. Seeing that his parents weren't going to budge, Ethan threw himself on the floor and started crying. "I hate you! I hate you! I hate you!" he screamed at the top of his lungs. Emma and Tom felt terrible seeing their son in so much pain, but they knew they had to be consistent. If they gave in now, it would only make things worse in the future. So they stayed strong and waited for him to calm down. After a few minutes, Ethan's cries subsided, and he slowly got up from the floor. He looked at his parents with tears in his eyes. "Okay, I won't ask for braces anymore," he said quietly. Emma and Tom softened his words. They knew they had been firm to the point of being insensitive, and they felt guilty about it. Tom knelt down next to his son and hugged him. "I'm sorry, buddy. We were too hard on you. How about we make it up to you with a trip to the ice cream parlor?" he said. Ethan's face lit up. "Really? You promise?" he asked. "Of course. Now go get your shoes on," Tom replied. As Ethan ran to change his clothes, Emma couldn't help but feel proud of her husband. "You were right, Tom. We had to teach him that not every wish can come true, no matter how much he begs and manipulates us," she said. Tom nodded in agreement. "And the sooner he learns that, the better. It will save him a lot of heartaches in the future," he replied. A few minutes later, they were all outside, enjoying their ice creams. Ethan was in a much better mood. He talked animatedly about school and his friends while licking his cone. Tom and Emma listened patiently, pretending not to notice the longing in their son's eyes. Whenever he looked at a passing teenager with braces, they knew it was a difficult lesson for him to learn, but they also knew it was an important one. At the end of the day, they were lucky that Ethan's wish had only been about braces and glasses and not about something more dangerous and expensive. Still, they had handled the situation poorly. They had been too harsh on him and hadn't considered his feelings. They knew they should have found a different way to teach him that life wasn't all about getting what you want, but they hoped he wouldn't hold it against them. As they walked back home, hand in hand, Emma and Tom promised themselves they would try to be more understanding and compassionate towards their son. They knew he was just a kid trying to navigate the world and all its complexities, and it was their job to guide him through it. The next day, Ethan woke up and went downstairs to get some breakfast. He noticed his parents were making him his favorite pancakes and couldn't help but smile. He knew they had made a mistake yesterday and were trying to make it up to him, but he also knew that begging and manipulating them wasn't going to get him anywhere. So, instead of pouting, he decided to be patient and wait until he was older and could afford braces on his own. From that day on, Ethan became more understanding and less demanding. He realized that life wasn't just about getting what he wanted, but also about respecting his parents' wishes and trying to see things from their perspective. He still dreamed of having braces someday, but he also learned that there were more important things in life to focus on.